Hello and welcome to another episode of Signals from the Inside. I'm your host, Smith-Lovett, and this is a space where we decode the symptoms no one else can explain so you can spot it, stop it, and shift it. On today's episode of Patterns Leave Us Clues, if you want to become unforgettable, I invite you to start doing this. One thing that I hear a lot of women say is whenever they come to me for business, I want to stand out more. I want to feel more confident about myself. I want to be memorable. I want people to remember who I am, remember what I stand for, remember what I'm doing. And I want people to know what I do. I want to stop hiding. And I think in this situation, we're saying the right comments, right? And I think behind these comments, there's patterns because patterns leave us clues, right? I don't think that becoming unforgettable starts with a strategy. I think it starts with understanding the patterns that taught you to become forgettable. If patterns leave us clues, I want you to pay attention to this. Because if you constantly over explain or people please or second guess or stay quiet or wait for permission, that's not character flaws. They're clues. Your body learned something along the way. Whether it learned that shrinking was safer than standing out, or it learned that staying quiet meant being safe, or waiting for permission, or doing things for other people kept people comfortable and kept the peace and avoided conflict, you learned something. So in your body, this can show up as anxiety before speaking, or digestive issues on a day where you have to get up and you have to speak in front of an audience, or you have to give your expert advice on something. Exhaustion after social situations because you're constantly feeling like you have to be on. Maybe you're jaw clenching because there's things that you want to say and you just don't feel that it's the right things to say. It's not the right time. It's going to come out the wrong way. What if they misunderstand me? Your body is already preparing for danger, even when danger isn't necessarily there. So how does this show up in your business? I see a lot of clients who same patterns, right? They become inconsistent in their visibility, meaning they'll post for a good period of time. Let's say something happens, a troll comment shows up, something that just kind of throws them off kilter, and then they stop, they ghost. And then they get this wave of energy later and they start posting again. Or they make posts and they delete them. I had a client do that before because somebody said, "Oh my God, that's an atrocious amount of money to be spending on cupcakes." She was a bakery. We don't delete the post. We can delete the comment. We can delete the person. We can block the person. That person was never going to buy from you. There was no convincing you could have done to that person to make them buy from you. They already had their mindset on something. Another thing that I see a lot that shows up in business is comparing yourself to other people. Well, those in my industry, those local in my town, I'm not that good enough. Yeah, you are. You're different. What makes you different? What makes you unique? There's not another you out there. I'm not you. Even if we did the same things, I'm not you. What makes you special and unique? You are a special snowflake. Be a Leo, wear your crown. I'll show you how. Another thing that I see in business is changing your message. I've seen people literally jump from one industry to another, and because that's where the money was. And so they start changing their messaging really, really hard, or they're constantly changing their target audience. Well, maybe I need this and not this. Maybe I can't get that because I'm not good enough for this. And then they undercharge, they hide their opinions, and they try to sound like everybody else. If I wanted to become unforgettable, I'd stop trying to be like everybody else. I'd start trying to be known by the right people, people that mattered. One thing that you can do is you can go message your friends and you can ask them, "What do you love about me?" "Oh, Macy, that's too much. That's like asking them to give me like greedy things." No, it isn't. You're asking them to reassure you in who the frick you are. And those people already love you. So they already are known by you in a different way. So let's walk through it. Step one, I would notice where I'm editing myself. What opinion do I hold back? Now, we don't want to say it just negatively and ugly. There is a right way to say it. You have to do it in a communication style, read your room. But I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to speak up. I would start asking, what story am I afraid to tell? What part of me have I decided is actually too much? Because maybe other people tell you that you're too much, but you haven't decided any of those things. Again, patterns leave us clues. Step two, I'd stop apologizing for taking up space. I'd catch myself. I'm sorry. Maybe this might sound silly. And I would replace it. I've noticed, I believe my experience has been because your voice deserves confidence. When you speak and you speak with conviction, you speak with confidence, people listen. People turn around and they're like, oh my God, that was a great thing that you said. Can you please say that again? Keep speaking. People want to hear people like that. Don't you? You probably follow certain people who speak with confidence because out of their voice, that's what's there. And they say the same things. I've noticed, I believe my experience has been. That's also authority and it's evidence-based. When you say I've noticed something, it means that you're picking up on cues. So there's evidence-based here. You've automatically put yourself as an expert or as some form of authority. My experience has been. Again, it's consistent patterns. Your voice deserves confidence. Step 3, I'd start collecting evidence of who I am becoming. First, you need to look at the list of who you want to become. What does she do? And it's not just what does she do in her business and what does she do in her life. It's the way she walks, the way she talks. And I would start collecting evidence. How am I becoming more of her? At the end of the day, maybe I'd ask myself, when did I show up as myself today? When did I feel like I was in my most authentic self? Maybe you spoke up about something. Maybe you actually gave yourself permission to rest. Maybe you posted something or you did the thing. Maybe you said no and you didn't people please. Those small moments count. They count towards who you're becoming. Honor yourself in that. Step 4, I would let people misunderstand me. And this one is hard. This one was hard for me because I was always the person that wanted to prove myself to other people and over explain things. I didn't want people to forget about me because, people just misunderstood who I was or they thought I was something else. And I don't think women who are unforgettable, it's not because people always agree with them. It's because they're honest and they just speak from their heart. If people misunderstand you, they weren't there to be your person. Now, if you have trouble communicating, that's a whole nother issue. But if you're communicating from the heart and you're sharing your experience, I find it hard that people come in just, oh, well, I don't like you and I don't want to be connected to you. Those people are not for you. You want to attract those that are for you. And when you allow people to misunderstand you, it only makes your voice louder to those who say, oh, no, she's right. I resonate with that. I'm picking up down. She's being honest. She's just connecting. She's sharing her heart. Those are the people that we genuinely want to connect with. Step 5, I'd become kinder to myself because one of the biggest things that I have noticed for myself is that you do not have to be the loudest. You just have to be safe within yourself and becoming who you are. When you're kinder to yourself, more people are going to be more kind to you because what you put out is what you get back. It's evidence-based. If you start saying ugly things about yourself, or even if it's a joke, the universe doesn't care, people are going to say the same thing. If you say, I'm always busy, then people in turn are going to say, oh, don't invite her. She's always busy. Think about it with your kids. I feel like I'm always on my phone. Mommy's always on her phone. You don't do things with us. You don't do this. You don't do that. Believe me, I heard the same things. When you're kinder to yourself and you give yourself more permission, you start trusting yourself more. You stop fighting yourself. You stop abandoning yourself and you start showing up as the woman that you want to become, the mom, the wife, the woman, the whatever. Things start really shifting because when you become kinder to yourself, you're just seeing the evidence of how other people should treat you. That's self-love. And that's a clue. Maybe somewhere along the way, right now, those of you who are listening, you've forgotten how incredibly amazing you are. Maybe you've spent so much time surviving that you've lost touch with the parts of yourself that were always meant to shine. I want to remind you of those things because if you're listening to this, it's not that you're here by accident. It's here because there was a piece in the hook or whatever that made you say, I feel like I need this. And I want you to remember that these are just patterns of survival that you've been living in. You have an option to change it now. And when you sit in the woman that you want to become, it makes it a lot easier to become her because you get to learn her. You get to connect with her. And if you haven't been doing that for yourself, I'm going to encourage, start doing it again. So if you've been noticing the same pattern show up in your body, your relationships, confidence, your visibility, and your life, I want you to know that those patterns leave you clues. Inside of my signals from the inside, I want you to start connecting those dots together. So go grab the free guide. It's completely free. Your name, your email address. That's it. Go get it. Dig in. And let's see what's hiding underneath it all. And when you're ready to take that next step further, and you're like, MAIS, can you dissect mine? We can absolutely do that. But until then, go get the guide. And if you love the content that I'm putting out, give me a like, give me a share, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.